Say you empower women, but don't acknowledge them. Feminism not what you embodying. You false hope, you false positive. But eat your fruit and drink your water then.
Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel relating to the unrelatables. My name is Shay Nicole, and this is where the real cannot relate to the fake. So today I wanted to do a little story time. My roommate actually encouraged me to do a video because I had just shot a video for you guys a couple days ago, and she encouraged me to do another one. So today I wanted to do a story time about my baby Blue Ivy. Now you're probably wondering, are you related to Beyonce? Is Blue Ivy your niece? Is that your cousin? Your stepsister? None of that. Blue Ivy was actually my baby girl. My blue PT Cruiser, which I got when I was 19 years old, I think. I'm 21 now. So my baby girl was Blue Ivy. I named her Blue Ivy because she was just a gem to me. Like, she was just my baby girl. She was my blue, my pride and my joy. So like, that's why I named her Blue Ivy. And she was blue, of course. So I just wanted to do a little story time on my time spent with Blue Ivy, why I miss her, and where she went. It might be a little funny, I don't know. People say I'm funny, but sometimes I don't know. Alright. So when I was 19 years old, by Zed, it was like the summer. I think I had just finished my freshman year. So yeah, I was 19. It was that summer, and my dad was like, okay, you can get a car. Now, I mean, I didn't really have amazing driving skills. I'm gonna be honest. I got my license when I was 16 years old at my high school, and they had driver's ed. And I had failed like I passed the test with like a 70. You had to get a 70 to pass. And my driving teacher took us out, and I had like done a lot of stupid stuff. He barely wanted to give me my license. But on the last day we went on the highway, you know, your girl was just whipping that thing. I showed him like I was the best driver. I could do the Kentucky Derby if I wanted. So like, I proved to him that I needed my license. So he gave it to me. Now my mom and dad was like, girl, you can't drive, so we are not taking you to the DMV to get a license when you can't drive. Like, what? So you had 6 months to go get your license before it was done. On the last day I had to get my license, my dad took me up there and we got it. Still, during that whole 6 months, I had probably drove one time with my godfather, and it was like a wreck. So I didn't know how to drive, but I had a license. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm tired of being, I'm tired of not knowing how to drive. I have a license, I don't use it. I will always tell people like, yeah, I have a license, I just don't know how to drive yet. And they used to be like, what, girl? So I finally went and decided like, okay, I'm gonna learn. And it was when my dad decided to buy me a car. So but right before the car arrived, he would let me drive his car, drive him around. I was just driving around. And at this time my dad had a littler car, because before we had a big GMC truck and I could not drive that whatsoever. So I finally learned how to drive, and my dad finally brought me my PT Cruiser, my blue 2001. And I was like, her name is Blue Ivy. She was just so beautiful, but from the jump, she had her issues, you know? Everybody has their issues. And Blue Ivy was very, very messy. So Blue Ivy, it started off with, mind you, it was summertime. It started off with the air conditioning not really working that well. And like, I couldn't ride with the air conditioning. But that did not stop me or my cousins or my mom. We were just out here all summer. We were just riding out, up and down, down and up, turning up at the Rita's Water Ice. We were just everywhere. Gas tank always on full, never on E. Like, it was just lit. But the thing is, it was so hot you couldn't like turn on the air. My dad was like, don't turn on that air or the car is gonna overheat. So I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna turn on the air. Then there were times when even if I wasn't turning on the air, the car would overheat if I went too far, or I was driving all day and my dad would be like, oh, you have to let the car sit outside. I'm like, what? Like, this is my baby girl. She's supposed to be running all day, all night. You don't get no breaks, Blue. So I would let the car sit, let the car sit. And then one time, I think I went to take my aunt to get some crabs. She had never been in my car before. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm sure the air will work. My dad's just, running his mouth. So she was like, it's hot in this car, girl. Can you turn on the air? And I'm in my mind, I'm like, girl, do not turn on that air conditioning. You are going to do something. You're just going to ruin this. Turned it on. Turned on the air, and we was just riding out. By the time we made it to the crab place, it was smoking up a storm. I mean, we managed to get home. It was just smoking the whole way. I mean, I will say Blue Ivy always made a way. She always got to her destinations, even if she was smoking, even if she was shaking, she always got there. So fast forward, December ended, and my dad managed to get everything fixed with it, and I drove back to school in my baby girl. And I remember the first time driving back to school, I did not even get on the highway. I did not get on the highway when I first started driving. I would just take the long way and stay on the regular roads and stuff like that. So on my way back to school was fine, great dandy. Then I started driving into work. It was great, fine, dandy. But then I started to notice that she would start smoking again. And my job is literally right around the corner. And by the time I got to my job, it would be smoking. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? So my dad taught me the method of water and, the coolant stuff. And I started learning how to do that and all that. Like, I learned. And, it didn't matter how much I put into Blue Ivy, she would always smoke. It didn't matter how many times someone would fix her. She would always smoke. So I think one day it was not one day. Actually, I went home for, I was going home for Thanksgiving break, and I was driving Blue Ivy. And it was late at night because I had just gotten off work. Now, one thing about Blue Ivy, when you're on the highway, she don't smoke. She drives like a 2019 BMW on the highway, honey. Pushing 90. All that. Amazing. So on the highway, she doesn't smoke. When it rains, she don't smoke. Like, the rain cooler down, it soothes her, But that time, I'm like, okay, Blue Ivy will get me home because I'm taking the highway. It ain't going to be nothing. So I hop on the highway. I'm going. But Blue Ivy was getting heated. I'm like, all right, baby girl. Look. What's going on? Like, what is it? So, I would call my dad, and I'm like, look, it's smoking. It's still getting hot. I'm on the highway. I usually lets me, go. He was just like, you'll be all right. Make sure you have your water in the car. So it had gotten so smoky one time that I stopped, and I decided to put some water in it. Mind you, it had taken me like 30-40 minutes until it cooled down to put water in it. Mind you, it's November in Delaware. It's probably like 30 or below. So I put the water in it, and when I put the water in it, it was good for a little more. Went on. But then by the time I made it over the little bridge, I had to stop again and wait again. And it was the whole night I was stopping and starting. Finally, I had made it down to closer and closer towards my house. And I was passing the Wawa gas station. And I was at the light, and it was smoking. And it was on the firing red thing. And the minute the light was about to change, the car cut off. And as soon as the car cut off, I was just like, oh man, I'm done. I'm not moving. Cars behind me were beeping like, sis, you need to go. And I'm just thinking I'm done. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm never leaving. So I called my dad, and I was just so scared. He was like, did you try to start it? What did you do? So I started it back up, and it came on. And it was jumping, hopping. So as it was doing that, I hurried up on over to the gas station, and I parked. And I told my dad, you're gonna come get me. I'm not testing the waters anymore. I'm not driving the rest of the way home. So my dad came, and he tried driving it home, and he had to make several stops. I mean, I think that was a breaking point for me because after that, I was like, look, I'm not driving that car anymore. Don't ask me. I'm not doing it. I refuse. And I think I actually did drive it after that, but and I did make it back home again. But the second time I drove it back home, I got stuck on the real highway, and I wasn't moving, and I didn't have no water, so my dad came and got me from the highway again, 2 times stranded. So that definitely happened. And then there was a time when I would get flats. I had 2 flats in like 1 week with Blue. She was so disrespectful to me. And like, I remember getting my first flat tire ever in my entire life, and this cute boy pulls up beside me. He like, yo, you know there's a tire place right down the street. I'm like, what you mean? Like, I got a flat tire? I just thought my car was going ballistic. So I followed his little car up to the street, and I had to spend my last to get my tire replaced. And then the next week I had to spend another $35 to get my tire replaced. I say all this to say that although I've, you know, had my moments with Blue Ivy, my car, I still managed to really miss my first car. And your first car is like going to be one of the craziest and best experiences you will ever have. Now, I say this to tell you guys, don't ever, you know, get caught up in the things like, oh, I have to have the nicest car out there. I have to have this, I have to have that. You are going to have that one car that gives you so much trouble, but makes you so happy at the end of the day. You can do whatever you want with it, really. Like, you can get good experiences out of it. And that's what I got out of Blue Ivy. I got so many good experiences with my friends and with my family. I got to learn how to drive. Although she was a little hoopty-hoo, she still taught me so much. Like, she taught me how to drive. She taught me how to deal with flat tires. She taught me how to deal with putting water in your car. She just taught me so much. And I'm just like, when I go on to have children, I want them to have a starter upper, you know, something that, I mean, something that you have and you take good care of, and you basically just realize that you're grateful. Like, you're grateful for whatever you may have, even if it's a smoking car. Like, you are grateful. And it taught me so much. It humbled me. Now, I don't think I'm gonna get another hoopty, but I just know that having that car really taught me so much. So I just wanted to tell you guys about Blue Ivy and how much she changed my life, even though she wrecked it a little bit. But I just wanted to tell you guys that in this story time. And I thank you guys for listening. So I hope that you like this video. So please like it down below, subscribe down below, and, you know, share it, and, you know, just tell your friends. This is going to be a good lesson for everybody. Thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye.